the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Samsung, finally, we have a competitive device that really goes up against the likes of Xiaomi, Vivo, Honor, Huawei. It looks like a completely different device. I said in my video that this is the biggest upgrade we've had on a Samsung Galaxy Fold series from the Fold 2. It's super slim, 4.2 millimeters when it's unfolded, which just about makes it as thin as you can get because that's the USB port. The Honor Magic V5 claims to be 4.1 millimeters thin, but I mean, it's literally a millimeter, so I'm not sure that's going to matter to anybody. When it's folded, it's 8.9 millimeters, which means that it is 26% thinner compared to the Fold 6. I mean, that is a drastic difference. And it's also 24 grams lighter compared to the Fold 6. Now, when we even compare it to a regular smartphone like the S25 Ultra, it's lighter than the S25 Ultra. So it's coming at 215 grams, whereas the S25 Ultra
nuts.
This is it, man. They've finally, listened to us. They've changed things around. Now, we've got new build materials, so there's a new Armor Flex hinge. We've got grade 4 titanium for the lattice. The ultra-thin glass is also 50% thicker, still maintains the IP48 rating, and we've got the Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2 on the cover, right? Now, let's talk about this cover display, because this cover display has now changed. It's much wider compared to the Z Fold 6, 5 millimeters wider, so it's almost 65 millimeters, and it gives it a very comfortable 21:9 aspect ratio. But I think more so because it's just so much wider, it feels like a regular smartphone when you use it, which is what the dream is, right? When you're using a foldable, the dream has always been you have a smartphone that works as a regular smartphone, but then you're like, wait a minute, I want to multitask, I want to game, I want to be more productive, right? And then you're like, boom, and there you go. That's what you got. And when you open it up, you have a huge 8-inch dynamic AMOLED display, which is 11% larger than the Fold 6. And the cover display, for me, I mean, it's in my usage feels really good. 6.5 inches, significantly larger and more usable compared to the Fold 6, which I still thought was just a bit too narrow. They've also got rid of the under display camera in the middle, so now you actually have a usable 10 megapixel selfie camera. That was something that was controversial. I'm personally glad that they got rid of it. Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, of course. So you've got great performance as expected. Cameras, we've got 10 megapixel telephoto, which hasn't changed. The ultra-wide camera has been updated, so now it's got autofocus. But most importantly, the primary camera, and this is something else that I was asking for, it is now 200 megapixels. So it's the same sensor as what we've got on the S25 Edge and the S25 Ultra. It's not exactly the same sort of lens and stuff as the S25 Ultra because they've had to compact it down. So it's more comparable to the S25 Edge. That's going to give you 4 times more detail. It's going to be 44% more brighter as well. So that's something that we've been asking for a long time as well. And we have some new AI features, which I would assume would trickle down to the Fold 6 potentially. Like we've got side-by-side comparison. So when you're doing AI edits, you can see your original as well as your new edition on each side, utilizing that big display. You can drag and drop. Gemini is optimized for larger screens. If you're gaming, you can circle to search within games now to get some tips for gaming and stuff as well. Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. I get stuck
That's
a lot.
what you do. So there's a lot, obviously, software, Android 16 with One UI 8, 7 generations of OS updates with 7 years of security updates promised, as Samsung has been doing. Now we'll go to the parts which are maybe not as exciting. That's all like the positives you've been hearing. Battery, still the same size, 4,400 milliamps, right? Okay, which is going to give you slightly better battery life. My theory is you're going to get better battery life on the Fold 7 compared to the Fold 6 purely because you're not going to have to open it up as much, right? With the Fold 6, it's closed. It's too narrow. You're like, let me open it up. But if you're constantly opening up, you're using more power because it's a much bigger display. With this, I kind of feel that I'm not going to be opening it up as much. I'm only going to be opening it up for certain tasks, which should give you decent battery life. Charging hasn't changed either. I would have liked to have silicon carbon because if they had silicon carbon, then you could have easily got a 5,000 or even larger size battery. I guess because Samsung has to ship out way more units than the competition, silicon carbon technology maybe isn't just there yet to be able to match what Samsung does. So maybe they're going to save that for next year.
So look, I'm gonna jump in on that point.
Okay, go
Uh,
on.
I do agree on the logistics side that it can be difficult to scale to what Samsung ships. Samsung and Apple are the largest shippers of cell phones. Oh, sorry, smartphones out there.
Okay.
But I was in London for the Nothing event, which we'll get to later on in this video, and
Mm-hmm.
I was using the OnePlus 13S,
Mm-hmm.
and that thing, I feel I have to measure it because I didn't, I haven't actually paired it side by side with the
Okay.
Fold, but that bad boy had a 5,000 what 800 milliamp battery, and I
Mm.
used it for 2 days as my Wi-Fi hotspot to my Galaxy, and my Galaxy died twice. Just put it
Oof.
out there. Just put it out there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so I get the aspect, but it needs to come soon,
Mm-hmm.
especially if we're going to this kind of form factor, with devices like the Edge, the Fold, and I can see us going back to just thinner smartphones in general, just because why have it so heavy and why have it so, thick when you don't need to? So
Yeah,
that aspect I will say Samsung soon. But when it comes to the device though, oof, it looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks gorgeous.
man.
The nuke blue color is nice. It's very sublime, and just seeing it side by side with the 6. So and I wish I had the special edition to compare it to, just to
Uh,
see the difference. I've I'll do that for you guys, but just seeing next to each other and realizing that you're looking at a technically S25 Ultra, right?
mm.
You're looking at S25 Ultra. I believe the thickness is the same as the S25 Ultra, which is nuts.
So the
When it's
thickness,
folded.
yeah.
When it's
So when it's
folded, yeah.
folded, the thickness is 8.9 millimeters when it's folded. The S25 Ultra is 8.2. So it's
Okay.
literally 7 millimeters, like zero
Oh,
point 0.7 millimeters. Sorry.
oof, oof.
So
That is so close.
yeah. So I don't think you're gonna have like, if you're using an S25 Ultra, you're gonna be absolutely fine using the Fold 7 and not actually think that, oh, it's because it's lighter anyway. So there's
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, that is
So
true. Yeah.
okay, there's another thing as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
S Pen,
Mhm.
RIP S
Mhm.
Pen. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 does not have S Pen support, so they've removed this. Uh, I guess Samsung's reasoning is with how thin it is, getting a digitizer underneath the main display would be quite difficult. However, I also think that because the S Pen was not something that was kind of included, like it is with the S25 Ultra, right? With the S25 Ultra, you expect there to be an S Pen. With this, with the Fold, you might get a case with an S Pen, you might not, right? So you may or may not be disappointed. I'm personally going to let them off here, right? Because they've finally given us, they've ticked off a lot of boxes for us with like the 200 megapixel camera. Sure, we don't have a periscope zoom camera, but then I'm like, you know what? In terms of how thin it is, obviously with the periscope zoom camera, you need a bit more depth. I'm going to let them off for that as well. But overall, I'm very happy. What are your thoughts about the S Pen going? Deal breaker?
It's not a deal breaker because
Okay.
if I'm being honest, the amount of times I've used my S Pen this year, other than signing contracts, which is a good thing, um, is not that much. That
Okay.
So I have to agree on that aspect there. And I think also to their point, they just looked at how many people who bought S Pen cases, right?
Exactly.
If say they sold 5 million, Z Fold 6s, or in total they sold 10 million folds from beginning to end, right? Till from 1 to 6, and they only have sold 1 million S Pen cases in that time, then it's not worth putting the S Pen in there. You got to look at the
Well,
math, right?
it's kind of like when it was the S25 Ultra and the whole controversy around it not having air actions anymore, right? And then Samsung's kind of statement was that only 1% of users were actually using that. So then it's like, okay, if we take it out, how much of a big deal is it going to be? I don't
Now
know.
here's the big part. How much crap have you heard from me about that since launch? How
I
much
have,
gripe have you heard from
but
that,
then again,
honestly, like as a whole?
I think people have kind of gone over it. This is the thing. So I think when it comes to this stuff generally, right, people will shout about it and then they'll kind of like get over it sort of a thing. I think a lot of times anyway, you'll have a vocal minority. Okay. If that vocal minority is in our comments and I'm going to be getting slated, But generally, what you find is it's a minority, but that minority is very passionate. And this is something we'll talk about when we get to the Nothing phone as well. But yeah, you
Yeah.
get a vocal minority who are very, very upset and they'll be shouting a lot. But the people, the day-to-day user who probably didn't even know that there was air actions on a previous Ultra that they had, now has the S25 Ultra and really doesn't care. Maybe a Fold user, or maybe somebody who's becoming a Fold user for the first time. And I think there's going to be a lot of people going onto the phone now, because when you see it, you're going to be like, okay, this is good. Pricing is the same as it was last year in the UK anyway. US is
Oh.
TBC. Yeah. So pricing in the UK, £1,800 for the 256 version, £1,900 for the 512, or £2,100 for the 1 terabyte version. And if you go for the 1 terabyte version, you get 16 gigabytes of RAM instead of 12. Also, there are pre-orders offers, obviously, using the affiliate links down in the description below. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But they're offering double the storage for the 256. So for £1,800, you will get 512 gigabytes of storage. Plus, I mean, I'm still waiting for the code, but I should be having a special code which will give you around $50 or £50 in credit if you use my affiliate link. Again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Very subtle here.
Yeah, that's right. Staff is now a salesman. Just know that. I'm just joking.
The affiliate sales, leave the lights on in the studio, otherwise we'll be filming in the dark. I'm joking.
Um, okay, but yeah, no, I like that. I don't have US pricing for you guys yet. Once I do, you'll see it. So, but I do like the fact that the
US
price is this.
pricing, sorry, US pricing is up in the air at the moment, generally.
Wait, yeah,
So
wait. The question is, do we have a signed trade deal with Korea yet, or no?
I
I don't know. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
what I do know is that there is a very good relationship between the US and South Korea. So,
They've always been in good relationship with the US and many countries, but I digress from that topic before I say too much. And I just want to just add one more point about the
go for it.
device. I think one of the things that they have achieved with this device is that it's now is a phone that opens up. Let's literally rephrase that. This is a phone that now turns into a tablet. And I believe God, I just forgot. What's the full size again of the internal display?
8 inches.
So this is an 8-inch tablet. You now have an 8-inch tablet on the road with you that is also a phone from Samsung. Yes, I agree. There are other competitors out there. There's Vivo as well as Honor as well, who have some really incredible products, which we will compare at later dates. But with this, Samsung software support, with Samsung's UI, with the AI features, I got to give Samsung props there because that's where they've really done some really good stuff. You're getting that with a device that now has that, you could say, ultra level camera system as well.
Yeah.
So that's something to take note. So I like that. To me, this is now where, I will be making that I switched video because I can finally
I was listening.
switch properly.
If you're watching this video, you'll already see, because that's my yearly one. I've been yo-yoing, so I'm like, I've
Yeah.
switched, and then I'm like, why I'm not switching?
So
Then I have switched, and then I'm not switched. So it's basically been year in and out here. But in this time, I think they've done enough. I
yeah.
do think they've done enough.
Mhm.
So props to Samsung for giving us what we have been asking for a long time. Better late than never. And the Fold 7 is a very exciting device, and it's going to be something that I think is going to sell a lot of units, because I think it's going to really convince a lot of people who are thinking about possibly getting a Fold to be like, okay, now's the time. Now is the time for me to get a Fold device. So that's what I think anyway.